Yeah. Hello, thank you so much for joining us today on this we want to share a little bit of insights regarding all this process of redesigning VisitNorway.com, our $1 million baby, we call her. So we just launched 28th of August, so still it's a very young little baby.
Yeah, quite fresh.
Yeah. So, first a little bit about Visit Norway. I'm Christine Baglo, by the way. I'm editor-in-chief of Visit Norway.
And I'm Jorgen Flo, the technical lead of the Visit Norway.
Yeah. So welcome to a new look on Visit Norway. And first, a little bit about our website. We have 9 language versions. English and Norwegian is by far the biggest versions. Then we have German, Dutch, Swedish, Spanish, French, Danish, and Italian versions. For the moment, we are doing most of the translation work manually. We hope to be able to
move it over to a translation management system sometime
and
in the
use
future.
more collections to make this work more efficiently. Everything we do, and I will go through a little bit of this because it's the principle of everything, absolutely everything we do. We have got a new national tourism strategy that came out in 2021. All the content we produce is based on the principles of this strategy, which is great experiences and small footprints. Because we always, every year, this time of year, we get a mandate from the government, from the Ministry of Trade. So our mission is to develop a more climate-friendly and sustainable tourism industry. We have to increase tourism in off and shoulder season and provide more full-time jobs. And we are supposed to offer relevant services and tools to help develop the travel industry, increase the amount and spread tourists to all corners of Norway in all seasons, and facilitate for sales. And this is very important because it influences everything we do. So our growth strategy is a little bit maybe different from other countries because the Norwegian travel industry has pledged to cut carbon footprint by 50% before 2030. At the same time, we are supposed to increase value creation, the ripple effects of the society, and the guest satisfaction for priority target groups, and create attractive local communities with happy residents. It's so important for us because growth and success is not just about reporting an increasing number of tourists. We have moved all the way, we are not counting tourists anymore because one of the goals of this strategy is to increase the number of the right tourists, the quality tourists, those that are interested in culture, that want to stay longer and travel in a much more responsible way. And they are also the ones that are more willing to pay for things and to eat local food, and they're really interested in the local communities. So, we're going to, we have to promote so much more than just, the regular beautiful fjords and the top destinations. We need to go to get the tourists to get interested in all these other fantastic corners of Norway, but Bergen and Geirangerfjord and everything. We need them to go and to visit outside main season, where we have problems with over-tourism in many places as well. Yes, we are developing a climate calculator.
Yeah.
That is so we're gonna really measure all of this. It's very interesting stuff. We'd like to talk to you about that some other time, but now we're going to just go on a little bit more about the redesign. So this is a little bit what I talked about, not as many tourists as possible, but the quality tourists. And of course, in order to do this, we have to create content. We do also a lot of long-form content in order to reach this kind of quality tourists. So the goals for VisitNorway.com is to be much more than the ordinary travel guide. We want it to be a seasoned travel companion, and we want to make travelers stay longer and experience more in every region, and travel in a much more sustainable and responsible way. So we are not just like, come here, but you have to really, really want to come here, and we would like you to behave in we are sort of educators in a way too. We have to show people how to experience Norway in a good way, both for the tourists and for the people who live in Norway, the local residents. So we try to do a lot of content, inspirational content. You can get expert travel tips and extensive destination guides for those in the know. We have tools to plan like a pro with our brand new trip planner. It's a soft launch of that one. And you can choose between more than 15,000 bookable products. It should also be a site where you can go deeper. You can deep dive into captivating in-depth articles about amazing people, epic places, and quirky Norwegian traditions. So again, our purpose to help travelers to experience Norway and have the time of their life in a more sustainable and responsible way. So, our redesign journey actually began in 2029. We were supposed to change fonts, logos, and colors. As many of you might know, we are a part of Innovation Norway. It's the Norwegian government's most important instrument for innovation and development of Norwegian enterprises and industry. So, they had developed a brand, and we were supposed to just adopt the colors and the new logos and everything. But we discovered that the website was really due to an upgrade. The last redesign was in 2015, and we opted for a thorough makeover on the entire site, both visually and technically. So the old site was really focused we had made adjustments for optimizing for mobile, but this site we have gone really, really mobile first. So we went for a full visual and technical redesign. We have more than 70% of the traffic for the sites coming from mobile phones, up to 80% in peak season. So it's really, really, you go out and you want this new fantastic design, and usually designers, they love to design for desktop still, because you have so much more space and everything. But the really, really difficult part, I think, is to design something that works really, really good on mobile, where our clients are and the tourists are. So we have introduced a lot of new functionality, new image formats, improved UI. We have enhanced horizontal scrolling capabilities, making the website more navigable and immersive. And yeah. So we hope it looks better than before. Yeah. So the road hasn't been really straightforward. It's been quite difficult sometimes. There have been some bumps. Yeah. So yeah, there have been some nights where Jorgen had to
all of
stay
us.
awake. Yeah.
But we managed to go on live on the time, so
yeah. But it was been a little bit like this as well. So. Had a couple of these. But then again, that's typically Norwegian and totally on brand.
Yeah, so why headless? Headless is the technical future, technical stack of the future. By shading to a headless CMS with the cooperation of Simpleview, we have built a visually good website, but also technical, robust website. We are prepared to create high-quality content with the high speed, making a good user experience from the first click. So what is a headless CMS? Headless CMS is a content management system that separates the content from, separate presentation layer, where the content is presented, and the backend, where the content is managed. This allows us to manage all our content in one place and use the content in other platforms. Making the content in a CMS a single source of truth. Now we can start to look into how we can use this content in other platforms. like the mobile app we have now. We only use listings and some collections, but now we can use more of the content. And we can also explore how we can use it in other platforms like we have never used before. And with this setup, we can also deliver code updates faster, both in-house and with the cooperation of Simpleview. So we have our editors working here with the content using Simpleview, and we can do the coding with me and our development team in-house and deliver all the content to the different platforms. That's simply
and it's really nice. We now have 3 developers in-house in Visit Norway working full-time almost with...
So we have more developers now than before. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the design system. As we mentioned, we have worked with Brand Norway, or Innovation Norway, the brand department that has already created a design system with our partner Neue Design Studio. It was, when you first saw it, it was really business-to-business oriented with sharp edges, dark colors, and it was not really welcoming. And so we have worked with them for over a year to create a design system that is more softer and welcoming for the users. And with the guidelines of the design system, we created these components. They are like Lego blocks. We created so we can put them together to create more larger and more complex components and make it more easier to develop new features on the website. We placed all our components in a component library. In this library, we also have all the documentations, functionality, and styles, so the developers, the editors can see how we can use this and come up with new ideas.
Yeah, that's the fun part, because you can start mixing and matching. Now we have all these tools that we can mix and match, and we can use in so many different ways, and also cross-brand for the whole Innovation Norway. Even the Ministry of Foreign Affairs can use this kind of components to create things.
Yes. And also the good thing with this Lego block kind of things to build is like if you change a button one place, it will be updated all other places as well. And we didn't have that capability before we did this. So we are always inside the design guidelines, even if we update it one place. Yeah, to summarize it, it's more hands-on for our in-house development team in cooperation with Simpleview. Content can be used in more places than before. And also we've done some changes to with this product for the widgets and panels options. We have removed some of the panels and widgets and even optimized some of the options for the widgets. So fewer choices for the editors makes it faster for them to edit and a better experience for them as well. And of course, the most important is the better user experience for the visitors.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if there's some questions, or you can contact me. And just we'd like to add some numbers and tech stuff. So we worked with the design for a year, and after a year, we started to do the development. Over this year, we have had 7 contributors or developers working on this component library. We've written over 23,500 lines of code for the component library only. And as well, Simpleview had a large team of developers that has taken the component library and implemented in this new project with the Next.js framework. And we can innovate and pioneering work further. So.
No, it's been like 2.5 years of hard work, and if you are interested to hear more about the technical side and the use of all these systems to create components, it's Jorgen that you should talk to if you're interested to look into something like that. And we have had a really good process with Simpleview as well. It's so new for both us and them, so yes. It's been a long process. We have had a total of 50,000 new and revamped pages, so there's been a huge cleanup job So please listen, if you've been to like Simpleview conferences, they say like follow this scheme systematically, don't be too creative, clean up regularly, put, you know, all this, do your homework there.
Yeah.
Well, just do it, because we spent the whole summer cleaning.
Yeah,
And we're still cleaning actually, so it's going to be Christmas cleanup as well.
I think we figured out to have more structure on the data that we are building and not go out of the widgets option. So less choices.
So less choices, and but good choices.
Yeah.
So everything is just like a baby in the rough. So now we have all these tools that we're going to use. We have an amount of 5,500 new editorial articles. We have around 800 unique editorial articles, which is quite massive, I think, for a demo. One of the reasons for that is, we also have 46,000 new product listing pages, because we have listing pages in many languages. We have a lot of new features to play with, which we have just redesigned the front page and a couple of other pages. Now we're going to use the tools to start redesigning all our articles, because we have so much more to play with. We've got a new map, and this is our twin baby, or a little sister, or a little brother. The new trip planner we are designing, it's a soft launch, because we didn't have time to finish it properly, but it's very difficult if you're going to go through Norway. You know, on the map it seems like it's like 5 minutes, 1 hour drive, but you have to cross a big mountain and go, you know, across a fjord or two, and it can take you what seems like 1 hour in the map can take you actually 7 hours.
Yeah.
So what to see and do along that way, this is what this new trip plan is going to give you some good ideas, and.
And this is something we can also develop further when we launched it further.
Yeah.
Like add new features and stuff like that. So it's a really cool and fun project.
It is. It's going to be great. It still have some hiccups, and we will also like to integrate public transportation, because it's also very much in our mandate. We are going to fund sustainable tourism, so we need to show people how to do it in Norway, because it's very complicated, actually. A little bit again, to be a little bit more than just a regular official tourist page. We have a little thought that we would like to be sort of a Norwegian magazine as well, because we need people to stay longer, and we want to attract all those people that are interested in the way we live and sustainability, and to go a little bit more in depth. So we're working on this sort of Norway magazine. We want to give more space to articles and content that gives you a little bit more in-depth stories, and also always adding on projects. We even made a cookbook in Norwegian where we combine recipes for food with recipes for the great way to travel, explore it. It's fun. We're also working very much with scrollytelling, visual storytelling. It's much more mobile friendly. One of our KPIs is time on site, and we see that time on site goes up. Some people think it's a little bit too much, but it's very immersive, and we see that people tend to get through the whole story for reading time when we look at that. It's much more immersive, and we also do a lot of hybrid articles, a combination of this scrollytelling and videos and text, and of course a lot of products everywhere, so you can go and book whatever you like. And the great experiences. So, we can have a look at one of those stories. It's about Norway's become one of the most famous cider producing countries in very short time. We shouldn't say thanks to climate change, but it's helping us a little bit. So the whole region of Hardanger are now winning a lot of awards for their ciders and apple juices. And we try to go like we talked about before today, a little bit long form content being more personal, taking tourists a little bit further down to get to know these farmers and all this hard work. So I think that's a lot of opportunities there to And this is also a very beautiful hotel. This whole region of Hardanger is very special. So you can go swimming outside in the fjords in warm water.
Yes.
So to integrate a little bit of the rest of Visit Norway as well, we look at ourselves a little bit more just not like just an ordinary demo, but more like a modern media house. We have an always-on strategy where we have tighter budgets like all of you, so we have to be more creative to what we do. So less of the big expensive campaigns, and we are turning to more frequent and cost-efficient effective initiatives targeted at the distribution through social media channels like Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Twitter and everything. Podcast, we also did a couple of those. And we try to do not this, not so highbrow, but a little bit more easygoing, sending people out there and creating good stories. We have a YouTube channel, which is really one of the best channels we have for the moment. It's increasing a lot. So these are all our channels, and all of these channels have landing pages on Visit Norway. So that's like the anchor where we will sell. We have the show, tell, sell, and of course Visit Norway is the sell phase, and then we so. Just ending up where our editorial team working for the web, they also do a lot of content for all our other channels. So this is a little come along the web travel with the Arctic Express. Yeah, so happy scrolling, go in there, and if you have any feedbacks, we are happy to hear it. And I don't know if you have any questions?
Yeah.
When is the trip planner soft launching? Or is it
It's already launched, but we haven't
promoted it so much because there's some small...
we test it and make sure it's perfect before we promote it. So it's there now, but and it's working okay, but it's not optimal as we want it to be before promoting it. So yeah.
Is this something you've done before? You've tried before, it's totally new.
The trip plan is totally new. So we had a map feature before that had all our listings where you could filter with basically a normal filter, but it hasn't been touched since 2015 when we launched it. So we saw the need for it because we see people are using maps a lot. And so we sat down with as well Norway Design Studio to how we can make a map or use map better on our sites. So the one thing we ended up with was creating a map layer that was for map of Norway, or what they call it, but it's like it has all this branding in it as well. And we figured out we need to make a route planner or something that makes it easier to plan your trip to Norway, because you get to Norway, you know, you may be going to Oslo and Bergen maybe, or someone else, but what can you do between those places? Family, road trip, you maybe want to have one extra night on the road, see something you have never thought about seeing, so it's totally new for us.
Yeah.
And it's a step further from what we had before.
But it's challenging to work with.
Yeah.
And to make work up to, in the best way. So, especially integrate public transportation is going to be a...
So that's the next goal to do. And and we also want to see if I'm able to do our what is it? Yeah, and then you can maybe experience something else if you go that way.
Yeah, one of the sort of advantages that I see of the headless is to make good on the strategy, if you like. A DMO website probably only gets about 1% of the overall visitor traffic, because people will be looking at different attraction websites, and there are hundreds of those that all have their own traffic. And I suppose an idea I had years ago, wouldn't it be great if we could get DMO content, so what's on information, or say information about where to stay on local attraction websites, information about what's on hotel websites, information about where to eat. And we've tried it numerous times, with widgets, with map overlays, trying to make it that content available, and it's always failed. People have tried to implement them, and it's just never got the traction. So I suppose I'm really interested, and why I'm going to watch this very carefully, is the number of places you get this content and how that impacts the number of eyeballs you get that content in front of. So have you got plans for that? How are you planning to roll that out to the wider community?
Currently, we are planning to do it for our app, since we only have listings on the application now. But we have seen we had a test right before Corona that we had this voice event calendar. Maybe that's something we can also implement it in. I think it's just we need to find ideas on how we can use it. Yeah,
we are just starting to plan ahead. So we have to open all this book to see where we can use it and how we have to optimize the existing contents for the use on these other platforms as well. So that's actually the next step. We haven't got so far into that process still. But it's definitely something we have to work on. There's been so much work with just the technical and the visual part. So that's our next steps to see.
Sorry, does it give you the opportunity to create a toolkit for all the entities within Norway to take your content? Is that really where you're going with this?
Both content and components, using this the headless structure, it's like having a whole library of components and tools that you can use in so many places, and also across sites, and also the whole brand Norway platform, and it makes it much easier for them also to import our content because it's totally aligned with their content, so it will blend in naturally in a very good way. So this is part of the plan, to sit down and see how we can...
Just gives us better option to do other stuff as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a unique opportunity, really, with the scale of the Visit Norway as an organisation, and with this very progressive, forward-thinking approach to the technology. Yeah, because we also
think very much the brand Norway. I mean, the Norwegian salmon, the tourists would like to come to eat it and to fish it and to experience the salmon, and it's also one of our most important export articles. So there's so many synergies there, so where they can reuse our content in the brand system, and both technically and content-wise. So there's so many opportunities there. So hopefully next time we can go and say hello.
So we'll have to get you back next year to give us a sort of year on in case study.
Other questions?
truthfully don't know the answer to this, but from how many regions, how many destinations, and how many tourism products does this website ingest?
Yeah, around.
We're around 100, 120 DMOs that feed us with information and products and.
So a lot.
Yeah.
And they are sending, like we have connections with their systems, like Simpleview and other systems as well, and API integration. So, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, feel free to reach out if we'll be
Yeah.
around. So, thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you.